Welcome to Fantasy Baseball Picks and Bets here on the Mayo Media Network. I'm your host, David Jones, at Tenacious D Jones on Twitter. Shoot me a follow and also subscribe to this channel, the Mayo Media Network. Give this video a big smash on the like button. You know how to do it. You're watching a lot of the videos. We see the numbers and we appreciate it very much. You know that we do a baseball show every day focused on prizepicks.com, focused on DraftKings, hopefully hit some bets along the way. But we're talking baseball today. We're going to start it off with prizepicks.com. If you do not know prizepicks.com, it's kind of the new wave fantasy/betting site. So you're not building a lineup like we're going to be doing on DraftKings. You're just looking at a player, looking at their fantasy prop. Are they going to go over, under this amount of fantasy points? Over, yes. Under, no. You can do it one-off, or you can parlay those picks together and get some big odds, get some big returns. If you can hit a couple props in a parlay, you're going to make a lot of money. And honestly, I think that's kind of a big advantage right now, being able to parlay these props on prizepicks.com and over on like DraftKings and stuff like that. It's great. You can make a lot of money that way. You're not just picking who's going to win and who's going to lose the game. We know that's hard. So head over to prizepicks.com, use the code MMN as in Mayo Media Network. Get yourself a little discount and get started. Let's talk about baseball on Friday. Big slate over on DraftKings. They have $100K up top in a $555 tournament with 1,001 people in it. Maybe you can get lucky and bink that, or get in the top 20% and almost double your money. Or play some of the smaller stuff. Play it smart. Play cash. Play single entry stuff. All you're doing is trying to make a little money every day, or let's say some money every week, because you're not going to win every single day, especially in baseball. Very high variance sport. Hey, we saw that last night with the Reds so far. Game's still going on. Looks pretty bad. 0 points in Coors. We can talk about Coors later, but let's talk about the pitchers. Tomorrow's slate is jam-packed with high-priced pitchers, and honestly, I think you're going to need it. I know you're going to need one of them. You're probably going to need two. You've got Tyler Glasnow, you've got Max Scherzer, you've got Clayton Kershaw, Zach Greinke. I'm going to scratch him off the list. Aaron Savale, I think, is okay. Even maybe down to Nick Pivetta against the Angels, who've been struggling lately. You could do something. But let's talk about the top three. Tyler Glasnow going up against the New York Mets, who have not been good, even though they were on a winning streak. Max Scherzer against Arizona, his former team. He's been absolutely shoving it lately. We'll dig a little bit more into Scherzer. Or do you want Clayton Kershaw? You get two of them. You can pick two of them, then you have $3,500, $3,600 left to fill out your team. That is doable on DraftKings because the prices go down to $2,000 if we can find some value. And on a big slate, some value is bound to open up once we see these lineups that they roll out tomorrow. So come over to FTN Daily, hop in the Discord. We'll find those value picks once we see the lineups. But I'll give you some value bets I like later on in the show too. So who are we going to go with? So Glasnow versus the Mets. The opponents are going to be the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Marlins for all these pitchers. And all of these teams are bad. You would think the strikeout stuff would be worse. They're all in the top third over the last 3 games of strikeouts, which doesn't mean a lot, but it's we're talking 7.67 strikeouts per game to, the worst team would be striking out a little over 10. So it's not that big of a deal. And when you've got these elite arms, you can add in a couple extra strikeouts if that makes sense. So Glasnow versus the Mets. They're striking out 7.67 times over the last 3. Scherzer versus Arizona, 7.67, same thing. And then Kershaw versus the Marlins, striking out one more time per game. I think I'm going to lean on Kershaw here more than the other two. You save $700 from Scherzer to Kershaw on DraftKings, $900 from Glasnow to Kershaw. Kershaw's looked phenomenal too. He could go the entire game if they needed him to. Depends on his pitch count, how well he's pitching. He's done it once this year, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. He has not. He went to 7. Who did? Who just went deep? Was it Scherzer? I think it was Scherzer. Scherzer just won an entire game against Miami. But that's who we're targeting here. We're targeting Miami with Clayton Kershaw. See what we did there? So Clayton Kershaw, Miami is actually the 3rd worst away team as far as strikeouts go in the MLB this season, with 10.35 when they are away. And we know that they're going from Miami, or they are from Miami. They're not flying from there, but Miami to Los Angeles. So that's away. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. We'll see. And they're the 24th worst on the season. I mentioned that they weren't as bad over the last 3, but if you take in that entire sample size, 24th worst in strikeouts. And look, we know Miami doesn't have it going on with the bats right now. They just don't. They've got Jesus Aguilar. And that's about it. They were in a phenomenal matchup against a bad pitcher and bad bullpen in Arizona 2 nights ago. They only put up 3 runs. I was expecting a lot more. Miami just cannot hit the ball, and they are not going to be able to hit the ball against Clayton Kershaw. So I'm going to go with Clayton Kershaw. $10,000 is my top pitcher on the slate. After that, I think I'm going to have to lean on Scherzer a little more than Glass now. I do not fear Arizona at all. I don't really fear the Mets either, but you save 200 at Scherzer, and I mean, look, he's just an absolute animal. The Arizona bats aren't hitting anything. The Mets are hitting better than Arizona right now, so give me Scherzer, 10-7. Those are going to be my two pitchers. And look, I understand that it's going to be hard to fit them. We'll try and find value bats. Like I said, you can maybe go to Aaron Savale from Cleveland against Seattle, who's been bad if you need to save a little bit of money. A little bit more risk there, obviously, or Nick Pivetta against the Angels, who's been striking out a lot too, and the only bats you're worried about are Ohtani and Trout and Jared Walsh. Once you navigate them, then the world is yours. So those are the pitchers I like. Good luck. It should work out. I mean, pitchers seem easy. You don't have to get weird with the pitchers tomorrow, or you're just going to be playing from behind and you're going to have to catch them with a couple grand slams in your lineup, I would think. So unless something else opens up, that's who we're going with. Let's talk about the stacks. So we've got a Coors game here, Wade Miley versus Herman Marquez. I'm not going to break that down. If you want to play a Coors stack because of how easy it is to hit in Coors Field with the high altitude, go right ahead. The Rockies really got after it last night. So far, the Reds have not. And look, those bats are 50% owned. It is a 6-game slate the night before that raised their ownership, but 50% owned baseball players is not a good way to go. I probably won't play it and just hope they aren't the two highest scoring teams on the slate, and we'll probably be pretty good there. I think I'm going to go with the Houston Astros as my top stack. A little bit of a letdown last night. The night before, they absolutely smashed with 5 homers, I believe it was. Team's on fire. Even the back of the lineup's hitting, especially Kyle Tucker, who got himself priced over Michael Brantley, who was hitting 2 last night. We'll see how it plays out on the DraftKings prices on Friday. But they're going against Wes Benjamin, who was just recalled. He's a lefty. Houston can certainly hit lefties, a very good lefty hitting team. So here are some notes here on Wes Benjamin, who was just recalled. In his 5.2 innings pitched so far this season in the majors, he's allowed 3 runs, 4 hits, 6 walks, 5 Ks in 5.2 innings. So 4 hits, 3 runs, 6 walks, 5.2 innings. And if you go back and look at what he was doing in the minors, he was not that good either. He was allowing almost, in 6 years in the minors, giving up almost 1 hit per 2 innings, and his home run stuff is it's there. He can give up home runs, especially against the Houston Astros, big home run hitting team. I think you can get there against the Texas Rangers. I realize that the Texas Rangers bullpen is better than expected. They're actually pretty good so far this year, but I'm just gonna. It's not that I don't believe in them, but I guess I believe in the Houston Astros a little bit more, especially if they lose tonight. Maybe they have a little extra juice. But Astros versus Wes Benjamin, get to him early, then find a pitcher out of that bullpen you can attack as well. Hopefully the game gets out of hand and Texas quits throwing out their good bullpen arms. How about that? If you're not going to play the Astros, you can always fall back on the Yankees and Camden Yards going up against Dean Kremer. Last time he played the Yankees, he got absolutely destroyed. He gave up 10 hits. And 2 homers and 4.1 innings for 6 earned runs against the Yankees. Yankees typically, it's a bit of a narrative thing, but there was a time where the Yankees were absolutely raking in Camden Yards, and Yankees can rake anywhere. They have so much power in that lineup, so much talent in that lineup. You've got Stanton, who's absolute stud, Aaron Judge, absolute stud. Both of them can absolutely hit the home runs. We know how this works. They're the best hitters on the Yankees, some of the best hitters in baseball, and some of the hottest hitters in baseball. Judge maybe even a little more than Stanton right now, but that's looking at the last 4 or 5 games. Before that, it was all Stanton. So Stanton, Judge, Gio, he's actually taken Dean deep twice in 4 at-bats, so 2 hits and 4 at-bats, hitting .370 against righties so far this season. Yeah, you can go with him if you want to get into the BVP narrative. So Gio, BVP guy against Dean in Camden Yards. So go there if you want. All right, those are 2 stacks I like. There are significantly more stacks, honestly. Those are probably my 2 favorite so far, but there's going to be a lot to attack tomorrow. So come over to ftndaily.com. We'll help break it down more. There's more guys talking about these games than just myself. Come over, meet the crew at FTN Daily. Let's talk one-off bats. favorite one-off bat tomorrow, it's going to have to be Chris Bryant of the Chicago Cubs going up against Skubal of the Detroit Tigers, the lefty. Chris Bryant is destroying left-handed pitchers, and I feel like he's not getting enough credit for it. He's been absolutely slugging it. So, what's he been doing? 4 homers so far in his last 26 at-bats against lefties. Really, really good. Hitting 650 ISO, 610 WOBA, really great numbers in a small amount of bats. And Chris Bryant, we know he's had it for a long time. We know he can still help this Cubs team, who's lost some pieces, obviously, since their World Series years ago. He's the best bat on that team right now. He's one of the best bats in the league right now. I truly believe that. I don't think he's getting enough credit. So that's just a huge stat against lefties. You want to go with Chris Bryant tomorrow in a one-off situation. Let's look at how much Chris Bryant cost. Because is he going to play? He's still got the wrist contusion. If he doesn't play, that sucks. But if he plays, he's day-to-day right now. He might play, he might not. We'll see. If he plays, you like Chris Bryant. Rafael Devers would be another one against Griffin Canning from Oakland. He's hitting great right now. We know the Red Sox are absolutely tearing it up. Rafael Devers and J.D. Martinez are both in a good spot. Devers hitting 390. J.D. hitting about 420 right now against Canning. Both have 8 homers so far against righties. You can go with those two. Or it's not so far. It's in their last sample size that I was looking at. Let me make sure I'm getting it right with these Red Sox guys, because Red Sox are probably going to be popular after what they did last night. So Devers, 8 home runs in his last 91 at-bats. J.D. Martinez, 8 homers in his last 94 at-bats. And J.D. Martinez was hitting 470, not 420 against righties, while Devers was hitting 390 in that sample size of bat. So there you go. Another bat that I love tomorrow is going to be Mitch Moreland. Mitch Moreland is an absolute BVP lord against Matt Shoemaker. I mean, Matt Shoemaker is not going to be sleeping tonight because he is going to be having nightmares about what Mitch Moreland has done to him in the past. Get this. In 7 at-bats against Matt Shoemaker, Mitch Moreland has 4 home runs against Shoemaker in 7 at-bats with the most absurd WOBA ISO I've ever seen. I didn't know it could get this big. 1.714 ISO, 1.105 WOBA, specifically against Matt Shoemaker in Mitch Moreland's career. All those bats, they were with the Red Sox, I'm pretty sure, unless he did it earlier in the season. I don't know. I just know it's 4 homers and 7 at-bats. Play Mitch Moreland. Tyrone Taylor of the Milwaukee Brewers going up against Drew Smyly, the lefty. Tyrone Taylor can hit lefties. His average has come down a little bit. He hasn't been doing everything that I wanted from him recently, but he should be batting in the 2 or 3 hole against the Braves and Drew Smyly, who's been struggling. You want to get a little cheaper piece of Coors. I could name all the Coors bats, but Garrett Hampson might do the job against the lefty. And then Trey Turner in the Humidor in Arizona against Riley Smith. I do like the Washington bats tomorrow against Arizona, not only because Riley Smith, but because you want to target that Arizona bullpen as well. So, there's some one-off bats. Again, come back over to ftndaily.com. Check out some more of the content. We'll have more bats. We'll have more stats. We do an hour show before each of the slates. And then we also have Big John of Cork Stats putting out his podcast daily. You should definitely listen to that. That guy's teaching me a lot. Let's pick a couple bets and get out of here. I'm going to actually take the Marlins to go under 2.5 against Clayton Kershaw tomorrow. We saw what Scherzer did to the Marlins. We saw what everyone does to the Marlins. We saw what the terrible Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher and bullpen did to the Marlins. Marlins under 2.5. Plus 100. I'm going to take it because it's plus 100. Hopefully they don't somehow get to 3 runs. I'm also going to take the Astros over 4.5. I told you that I like the stack already. We got into that a little bit. So I'm really just going to chase it and I think you can get over 4.5 against Texas. I know the bullpen's better, but Wes Benjamin should give them at least 3 of those runs, I would think. and maybe we can get some kind of grand slam going on. That's a big ask. 2 homers with men on. That should do it for the Houston Astros. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully I helped. You can check us out, like I said, at FTN Daily. Hit us up in the Discord, and you can just ask us questions all day. We will answer your questions. Just tag an expert, and we will get to you. Again, go over to prizepicks.com. Sign up with MMN as the promo code. And thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.